everybody. Welcome to the webinar today. This is John Tabor. I have Paul Schultz here with me.
Good afternoon from UDS International Headquarters in beautiful, balmy downtown Clearwater.
I don't know why he starts every time that way, but he feels compelled to give a weather report. I just want to welcome Avery, Chris Billings, Hans. Thank you for joining us. Lots of Chris's today. John, thank you for joining. Jonathan, Joseph, Justin, Keith, Kurt.
And we're running through
Mark,
the alphabet, aren't we?
Matt, Peter,
Sweet.
Robbie, Spiro.
Oh.
Got a lot of people joining, so that's great. Thank you, everybody. Today what I want to talk about is moving forward into 2019. And as you think about your performance and your what you did in 2018, first thing I want you to think about is how fast 2018 went by. I mean, it's really it's amazing how, in our world, that 30-day cycle from hero to zero, the year goes by so fast. So what we're going to be talking about today is how we can look at 2019 and maybe a little differently than we did 18 and make it the best year you ever had in F&I. So first thing, before we get started, though, I wanted to talk real quick and just say a couple of things. First is, in the coming year, it's important that, we get out of our office a little bit and talk to the best customer, which is the sales department. Every time, I'm working with any F&I department, F&I directors, general managers, dealers, one of the things that we're talking about right now is deal structure. And how important deal structure is. It's always been important, but with, compressed margin on the front and, how when F&I and sales work together to structure the deal properly, it's when we can maximize the profit.
We attended a good webinar this morning that talked about that, because if you're not paying close attention to the way you structure a deal and your opportunities as far as lenders, you may be missing hundreds or even thousands of dollars in potential income that can trickle to your bottom line and to your pocket ultimately.
So it's important that we work with our number one customer, which is the sales department. Without sales, we've got nothing. If they're not bringing us the deals, what are we going to do? They experience how we act and what we're like every day in F&I because they are our best customer. And, our reputation is known throughout the dealership and the sales department. It's kind of like any other business. And, the sales department can and does influence everyone you offer products to. So my question is I want to start this before we get into the top 10 things we could do is, if sales had the opportunity to review your F&I business, how many stars would they give you? So if you were a standalone business and you were looking online at your reviews, what would you get? 1 star, 5 stars? Well, I've talked about this before, but I thought it'd be a good idea to just kind of review on it, is that the top 10 things businesses do by Google, they push 5-star reviews, and we all know how important 5-star reviews are to how we decide where we're going to buy, where we're going to eat, what products we're going to select. So Google did a study, and they said, from a business perspective, here are the things that you should be doing if you want to get a 5-star review. And I want you to think about F&I as I go through this list. Know your products. Be friendly. Say thank you.
Thank you.
Be helpful even if there's nothing in it for you. Train your staff. Be responsive. Ask for feedback and use it. Take the extra step. Throw in something extra. Deal with complaints and listen. Now think about F&I and how we act with sales. And if we look at this list of 10, ask yourself, how do I rate there? Be helpful even if there's nothing in it for you. How about being friendly and saying thank you? It's hard to do at, 8:30 at night when you're supposed to leave at 5 and you're getting a cash deal and you're the last one there.
No product.
But these are the things that get us those 5-star reviews. And I just wanted to start off by saying, if you take away nothing from the webinar today, take away this. If you haven't had a good relationship with sales in 2018, make it your responsibility to change that in 2019. Nothing will have a better or more significant impact on your income as good deal structure, and it starts with the sales department. Okay, let's get started. Tips to make 2019 your best year in F&I. Let's start with tip number 1.
Number 1.
Or 10, excuse me, we're going to count down.
Number 10.
Sorry. All right. Read everything you can that pertains to F&I and sales. Okay, you're on the webinar today, which is great. That means that either you were forced to be on it or you're actually interested in getting better or learning something new. One of the things as a trainer and a teacher and a coach is that I have to constantly be looking at material and trying to get better at and become more effective at what I do. And so I'm looking at things on adult education, how people learn, how people want to buy, trends in the marketplace, things like that. So I'm trying to understand how I can be better at what I do. And so I'm going to challenge you to do that too. Be a student of the business. Learn what's going on. Try to understand why people buy. What are their motivations? Learn everything you can about sales. Millennials are now the number one market in the United States. They have more power now, believe it or not, than the baby boomers, which was always the golden, egg. Well, millennials are now taking over, and they're a big group, and they're going to continue to be there. So, how do they buy? How do seniors buy? What makes them tick? What makes them? What motivates them? So, my challenge to you, and the number 10 tip, is to try to spend 30 minutes a day learning about F&I, learning about sales, learning about leadership, learning about body language, learning about how what motivates people. And if the best place to do this is, by the way, the average commute in the United States is about 26 minutes. So we'll call that a half an hour. A great way to do this is on your way to work or on your way home from work. I was talking to an F&I woman and person, and she was telling me how she spends 30 minutes her ride to work on a motivational type of podcast, and then on her way home she's listening to sales stuff. So it's a great place to do it. It's hard to carve out 30 minutes, but nothing is sadder to me than to see somebody apply 1 or 2 years of knowledge to a 20 or 25-year career. And the only way we're going to get better at what we do is by us taking control of it and making it happen.
You got to make yourself better. It's nothing quite as exciting as going to a doctor and he has all these things on the wall with graduation certificates and diplomas and all that kind of thing, and you start talking to him and he says, yeah, I graduated in 1991, and buddy, I had it. I haven't studied a lick since then. I haven't checked on any new techniques, new information, new technology, or anything like that. Which doctor would you like to go to, that guy or the guy that's on the tip of the iceberg as far as information? Who's better at it?
Well, it's funny you should say that. I was watching a TED Talk. I don't know if any of you watch TED Talks, but I do. I'm kind of a geek that way. And there was a doctor, a surgeon on there recently talking about just that, Paul. And he had the foresight to hire a professor from his medical school to come in and watch him perform surgery to see how he could get better at it. And, there's a guy who's a, top-notch surgeon. He brings somebody in, and sure enough, he thought he had a great surgery, thought he did a fantastic job, but this guy had 2 pages of notes on things that he could do differently. And there were little things, but they made a big difference. And what this doctor found is that within a year, he was seeing far less complications with all of his surgeries. He was more efficient in the surgical suite and getting in and out faster. So even, the top professionals in the world, the top athletes in the world, especially the top athletes, need coaching, need training, and need to be moving forward. All right.
Good point, John.
Tip number 9, facilitate the best sales and training meetings in the dealership. We're going to be working on this in the first quarter. I'm going to be doing a train the trainer here at UDS World Headquarters. But, one of the things that is so important in F&I that probably all of us, everybody listening today, could improve on is participating in the sales meetings from an F&I perspective. We should, first of all, if we're going to contribute, we got to be there. So you got to go to every one. And it gives us a great opportunity to educate the staff on the benefits of the products and how those benefits affect people's lives. even if you just talk about one product at a time, then the sales department starts thinking about those products. They start seeing value in those products for their customers, and good things start to happen because of it. Teach them why it's important to control the process. We were talking about deal structure earlier, and I can tell you the deal structure starts with the salesperson and what vehicle they land the customer on. And how many times have we taken a deal and squeezed it because the customer's on a vehicle that they really can't afford? So we're cutting the front gross. We get a terrible line, line 5. We got nothing going, and we could have really, if we would have had them on a different vehicle, everything could have been different. So that might be a great thing to start talking about. Teach them how to discover, how to be better at discovery. Let them know what you do in F&I. Let them know why it takes as long as it does to load a deal, why it takes as long as it does with you with a customer, so that they start to understand the process a little more and start becoming an ally versus maybe not an ally when the customer's waiting to get in to see you. Let them know how accurate information can speed up the process, and show them what happens when you don't have accurate information. This probably involves the sales desk too, and helping them to control the process a little bit more and have cleaner deals coming into F&I. Tip number 8. Paul, do you have something?
Yeah, the prior one is a great point, and it's really, I walked into a dealership one time, John, and the F&I manager said, well, I feel like a clerk here. I said, oh, really? Do you go to, what do you go out cover at the last sales meeting? He said, I don't go to those. I said, what have you been doing at the desk lately? I don't go there. How about service? Do you know the advisor? Go back. Basically, what you've determined is, now there is the paperwork and deliver a car. So if that's all you do, then you kind of are a clerk. So if you expand your vision with the people around you, they'll expand their perception of you, and you'll build yourself into the management team at a much higher level. It's really critical.
Good point, Paul. Thanks.
My pleasure.
I got to get back on the.
There we go.
Tip number 8. Refine your process. Don't make customers wait. We talk about this all the time, but really think about how can you become more efficient in 2019. Number 1 complaint about the car buying process isn't this untrained salesperson that people encounter from time to time. It's the wait from when they say yes until they get into F&I. So the more we can compress that and make that quicker, the better. And don't let the old way stand in your way of F&I success. Get out of your office. Go tell the customer who you are, what you do, what their and the time expectation. And that helps a great deal. And create a realistic time expectation. Train habits out of the salespeople that slow you down, like bringing you bad information. Work on your process to become more efficient. How can you get faster and better at what you do inside the office when you're loading a deal? Those types of things. Partner with the desk to ensure that clean deals are coming into F&I. Create a checklist if sales doesn't have one. Encourage them to use it. Reinforce them positively when they do. This is an old school thing, but I tell you what, it sure is a big deal. There's nothing like a service department tour prior to somebody coming in to visit you in F&I. Gets them thinking about, they get to see all those cars in there getting worked on, and a lot of them look pretty new to the customer. So it opens up their mind a little bit to some of the products that you offer. And this one is really important, that 3-point turn that we talk about, how to do a proper TO to F&I. And what I mean by that is, when to do it and how to do it, how to introduce you, and make sure that they introduce you every time. Great opportunity for you to do that. Tip number 7. Practice, drill, and rehearse, and practice, drill, and rehearse some more. Best athletes in the world, superstars, spend all of their time training and trying to get better. How often in 2018, outside of the time you spent with UDS in training, did you work on your game? And if so, what were you doing? Think about that for a second. So what can we do? We all know that practice makes permanent. Pull out that cell phone and video yourself making a presentation, or have somebody else do it. You can learn a lot about your presentation and what's going right and what's not going right based on your body language, voice tone and inflection, things like that. After you take a look at it, you guys are pros, evaluate and adjust. Awareness is the key, and once you're made aware of it, you're smart enough to make the adjustments and do it differently. Learn new ways to close. Start thinking about how you can relate what the customer's told you and use logic to close the customer. Remember, we present with emotion and we close with logic. So how can we, learn new ways to close the customer? The best way to learn something is to teach it. So see tip number 9, and constantly seek feedback. And a good place to start is from your best customer, which is the sales desk. Ask them how you're doing. Ask them what you might be able to do differently. I know that sounds a little crazy, but give it a try, because professionals seek input from other professionals to improve.
If you're not confident enough about your presentation and all the things, the aspects of your presentation and process, to do them in front of somebody else, anybody else in the dealership, from the general manager on down to the salesperson, then you're not good enough at what you're doing. You need to get better at it, and that's the way to get better at it, is have some people that you're putting in front of you that have the opportunity, whether it's preferably one of your partners, that can give you some constructive input and help you be better at your game. Tiger Woods is in front of the camera 1, maybe 2 days a week. He's hitting thousands and thousands of golf balls the other 4, 5, 6 days a week. So that's what we should be doing as well.
Well, and look at our peers. Don't be afraid to go talk to a peer, another F&I manager. I was in a meeting yesterday, and one F&I manager was doing 40% penetration on tire and wheel. And the other manager selling the same product was like 7. Well, how does that happen, right? So obviously the guy doing 40 is doing something different than the person at 7. Both of them can see the numbers. Why not go to the person who's doing 40 and say, "Show me how you do this."
Working with,
yeah,
exactly.
What are you doing? Because I'm only at 7 and I want to get better, and whatever you're doing is working, so I'm gonna use it. So use each other, compare the numbers, look at your process, look at your production, say, Paul's got the number that I want on that product, so I'm gonna go see how he's doing it and see if I can mirror that behavior.
Perfect point, John. Practicing on your partner is constructive. Practicing on a customer is expensive.
Amen. I guess we're talking about utilizing all your resources. All right. Tip number 6.
Number 6.
Get better at prioritizing your daily tasks. I am a minister at the Church of the Consultative Interview. And when I'm preaching, I hear this all the time, is I don't have time to go out and talk to my customers. But then I look down at the numbers, and I'm not there from day to day, but I'm saying, my gosh, this person delivered 42 units. How can you tell me you don't have time, right? The numbers tell me you have time. But it's probably because they're busy doing other stuff that isn't supporting their goals, isn't supporting their income per se, and they get caught in the swirl of the day. So we need to get better at prioritizing our tasks, and we can do that by avoiding the present bias that exists in F&I. We're going to be having a Core 7 training on advanced F&I management skills coming up, and I tell you what, one of the things that we talk about is how to really determine what's important in F&I from a task perspective and what isn't, what supports your goals and what supports other people's goals, and focusing more on you. The present bias is in F&I. Things come at us all the time, and we end up taking care of them right now, and they're not always the things that we should be working on. And we go home, and we're tired, and we're wore out, and we realize we didn't make any money, and that's the seed of burnout, and it's really because we're not good at prioritizing our tasks. A simple to-do list, if you make one and check it often, it can change your life. I don't know if it's my personality or what, but I start one every day, and I love checking things off my list. The do-it-now mentality, if you got a deal to bill and you don't have a customer, bill it. Get it done. If you have something that supports your goals, supports what you're trying to do in F&I, and you've got a little time, do it. This is a great time of year to take a look at your office. Take a picture of it. Take a picture, sit in where your customers sit and take a look at what your office looks like. Great time to clean it out. Get rid of it. I love the videos when I get videos from people I'm working with and I see what the back behind their desk looks like. And I know that they've never seen it that way, but it's interesting because there's stuff out of place, it's disorganized, there's stuff all over the office, and you know, a clean, organized office says a lot to the customer about you. A cluttered, disorganized office says a lot to the customer about you. Look to stay ahead of the flow. You know, that gets back to that do it. You know, what's coming up next? What are the delivery schedule? What do I need to do to be ready to go when the customer gets here? How can I make sure that I'm always ahead, trying to get ahead of the office? Inspect what you expect. If you ask somebody to do something, make sure they get it done.
Put a time reference on it too, so that way if they don't have a deadline, they're not going to do it. They're just going to keep dragging it on. And if you don't give them a deadline, you can't expect to have them comply to what you mentally might think is the priority that it should have, when in fact they don't recognize that priority.
Well, the number one comes to mind for me is STIPs. You know, we're trying to get a STIP from a customer based on a call we got yesterday. We're trying to get the vehicle to deliver today, but I need to make sure that they're bringing, you know, POI, POR, something in here that I need. So I need to make sure that I'm inspecting what I expect whoever I delegated that to. Then I want you to start asking yourself this, and after you come, anybody who participates in the advanced F&I management skills will start to learn to ask themselves this question. Does this help me achieve my goals, or is this helping someone else achieve their goals? And it's the difference between important and urgent. Urgent things are in that present bias. They're, gotta get it, I need it now, I need it now, I need it now. And what happens is when we start getting stuck there, those important things that are important to us start going down the list, and we end up not getting to them, and they cost us. So we're going to be talking about that more in the advanced F&I management skills part 1, but it's a big deal, and it kills a lot of F&I people, and it holds a lot of F&I people back, and it burns a lot of F&I people out. Tip number 5. Took a picture of Paul's car before I came in this morning. Become a master of the conversational.
I obviously didn't use diamond finish on that one.
Yeah, no diamond finish. You know, easier said than done. I'll give you that. But, you know, we need to learn how the customer takes care of a vehicle. We need to understand what's important to the customer, you know, and discover their needs. When we start offering products based on customers' needs, or offering products to solve customers' problems, it becomes a whole different process for us and a whole different process for the customer. You know, when we present product benefits as solutions to their problems and can fulfill their needs, and we have to start thinking about those benefits to our products in that way. I know this sounds a little nuts, but take a look at their trade. If you have time, go out and take a look at the trade that the customer's bringing to the table. Talk to the salesperson about the customer. Let's really find out what they know, what the sales desk knows. Look in the DMS and find out, you know, have they been here before? Are they a good customer? You know, have they bought anything? I tell you what, it happens all the time. When we look at a customer, I'll be sitting with an F&I person, and they'll tell me, yeah, this customer's been in here. They'll look, they've been in here before. When they were here the last time, they left with maintenance and gap. And when the customer says no to maintenance and gap, the F&I person doesn't press it. They don't ask about it. They don't want to know, well, I know, you know, that last time they did, what's keeping them from doing it this time? Do your homework before you introduce yourself to the customer. And this is a big one too, super important. You know, if you can sell the problem you solve, not the product you offer. Think of the problem or the need first before you start offering the product. If you can do that, customers will respond much more positively to you than just selling features, advantages, and benefits.
Really early engagement with your customer is critical, and the more information you have about them in every aspect, the better you can do as far as engaging with them in conversation that will lead them to make positive decisions on your options. you don't have to press them then. They just naturally get drawn to the options you're putting in front of them because they see that there's solutions for their problems.
Well said, Paul.
Thank you.
Tip number 4, be the undisputed world champion of F&I product knowledge in your dealership. Being able to, when we're talking about benefits, when we're talking about solving problems and fulfilling needs, we need to know the products that best do that for our customer. So that says we need to understand the products, every product we offer. What's the best solution? Can we maximize the customer's satisfaction by going to a different product? Can we address a specific need? Can we make the deal more profitable? Lots of things come from product knowledge. So if you haven't done it in a while, this is a great time to make sure you got bad forms out of your office, old forms. Make sure, it's a great time to, spend maybe 5 minutes. Part of that 30 minutes of getting better at what you do is reading the T's and C's of the contracts that you sell.
T's and C's, John, what are those?
Terms and conditions.
Oh my goodness, why would we want to know those?
Well, we talked about that. We want to be able to explain the benefits as they relate to the customer's needs. Here's the big one. Embrace the claims process, don't run from it. If the customer is having a problem with a claim, I want to know about it so that I can handle it. Because if service is involved and they may not handle it the right way, the customer will then think that the product didn't have value or is not doing it what I promised that it would do, and I want to get involved to make sure that it does. Know what products complement each other and why. If I'm going to sell Gap, maybe I should think about how I could talk about Gap and theft. If I'm going to be selling paintless dent repair, I probably should be talking about diamond finish and how they go together, how they complement and enhance each other. How we have products that are mechanical or drivability products, how we have products that are environmental, and how we have products that are financial. And be able to group them together. And if a customer picks one of those products but they don't pick another, we can recommend those products in the declination page and say, other customers that have chosen this product have also chosen this one, and this is why.
And this is why you need it.
Yeah, and know every answer to any product question without hesitation. Super important. Tip number 3. Market your products outside the F&I office. We all can use those incremental sales without a vehicle being tied to it to help us increase our PPR. And most of us, our PPR is tied to our pay plan. So install or reinstall that service drive program and do it soon, because if you don't, you're not going to get the opportunity. I've been spending a lot of time with people that are seeking an information because they're going after that business. Service managers are starting to see that as a revenue source for them, another revenue stream for service, and it's really the best time to offer the products to our customers because the emotional attachment is the highest and it's the most logical close. There are companies out there actively marketing to your service drive and your service managers saying, hey, this is how you can do this and make a lot of money, and you don't have to worry about that F&I person not being available. So now is a good time to get involved. Call every customer 60 days from warranty expiration and offer a product enrollment. You're about to leave your factory coverage. I wanted to know what your plan is and be able to explain to you your options.
So, John, there are a lot of dealerships that have auto alert or something like it that offers them the opportunity to program in from their database who is going to be coming to the end of their factory warranty and who is going to be on their first service visit shortly. And both of those opportunities are great ones to talk with a customer and speak with them about, are you going to trade your car in, or are you going to continue the protection aspects of the vehicle on the vehicle that you're going to keep? Because really, it only makes good sense to do one or the other. So you have a very powerful, logical opportunity to present to them at that point.
I can tell you one thing. I have a worksheet. If you're interested, just text me or email me after the webinar. that'll just give you an idea of the opportunity that's available. You just fill out the worksheet, and it tells you just get the answers to the numbers, and it shows you what size opportunity is there for you based on national averages. And it's a shocking number to a lot of people. It's usually a high five-figure number, and I always tell people, they look at the number and they go, that can't be right. I say, cut it in half. And it's still a big number. And we're talking about 4 or 5 phone calls a day. It's not like this is something that's going to take a ton of your time.
Give yourself a raise for 2019, a big one.
Call every paid claim from service and ask the customer to give that product a 5-star review. Yesterday I was looking at websites for our partners and just kind of checking them out. And then I was, just for fun, I started Googling vehicle service contract for my, filling in the blank there. And the best case scenario was a dealership showed up on page 4. Finally showed up on page 4 as offering a VSC, a franchise dealership. It took until page 4. So my question to you is, when you're shopping for something, do you go to page 4? I don't. And this is a way for us to do that. And what it does is, you already know that the customer is happy because the claim was paid. Call them up and ask them, hey, I saw that you were in service. I just wanted to make sure everything went as I said it would when you enrolled in the product back in whenever. Yeah, it sure did. That's great. Hey, would you mind doing me a favor? Would you get on our website and would you give that vehicle service contract a 5-star review for me? Would you give that tire and wheel a 5-star review for me? What's going to happen then when people are shopping to determine whether they're going to buy or not at your dealership, they're going to look for the reviews, because that's what we do now. That's how we buy. And when they're looking at those reviews, they're going to see reviews for products that you offer. Really glad I bought the VSC. I just paid my kids' tuition, had the starter go out and paid a $740 claim. Had a rental car, nothing out of pocket. It was an awesome experience. Highly recommend you get a VSC. Oh, by the way, talk to Paul.
Absolutely. I'll find a good one for him.
Yeah, well, what I mean is that, that's going to also help with our when people are starting to look for AdWords and help our organic searches and which brings me to the next point of, hey, mate, might want to talk to your GM about getting some information about the products we offer on the website. If nothing else, general descriptions of what they do and how they serve the customer. People are interested. Statistics say if there's information available on these products prior to the customer coming into the dealership, they're more likely to ask questions about them and they're more likely to enroll. But for whatever reason, we want to keep them a secret.
The other thing you want to do is get with your systems admin guy, your website guy, and see about optimization for the search engines, so that when somebody's searching for a VSC for your particular brand, at least your dealership's going to come up on page 1. And some of these things are really imperative. In order to make extra money, you got to do a little something extra, and this is a little something extra. It's not difficult. It's not brain damage. It's not anything other than rewarding. So engage yourself in it. Bring yourself to do the task and get practiced at it, and you'll start finding some extra money in your pocket every single month. Every
dealership has a marketing budget. They're spending money on AdWords, and but maybe we could carve out just a little bit of that AdWord budget for some of the things that'll happen when somebody Googles a vehicle service contract. All right, we got to keep rolling, Paul, because we are running out of time.
Number 2.
Focus on benchmark performance. Compare yourself to to others in the dealership. We do leaderboards. We're putting out, your numbers are there. Where are the performers? Where's the average line? Be sure that you are above the average line all year. That's where you want to be. These are kind of benchmark, generic performance, but, you want to be at 1350 or better. You want to be at 2 products or better. You want your VSC to be 50% or better. Measure yourself against a group, train for improvement. Here's the thing, small improvements have a large impact over time. So we're not talking about you got to change the world tomorrow, but 1%, 2%, 1%, 3% over time increases monthly can make a huge difference. Never be satisfied in your performance. Everybody can do better.
One of the dealers I worked with had a disdain for average. His commentary on that was average is best of the worst, but it's worst of the best.
Yeah, you don't want to be there. Okay, number one tip to make more money in 2019 is use UDS auto tracking to forecast and set some goals for the year. You know, it's an interesting thing. There was a study done by Harvard Business School at Yale University on goal setting. And what they discovered, this guy named Burton who authored this study, found that only 13% of the people in the United States set goals. 13%. Of the 13% who set goals, only 3 have them written down in a clear plan and review those goals on a regular basis. This study was for 18 years. And an interesting thing is at the end of the study, they found that the 3% who have clear defined goals, have written them down, review them often, and have a plan to achieve them, were making more money than the other 97% of the people in the study combined. That's an interesting statistic.
What percent do you want to be in? The 97 or the 3?
So think about how much more money you want to make in 2019, and then work backwards to create your plan based on your data. Okay? So use the last year's data to see where you are, where you can improve, and what improvements you can make to increase your bottom line. If you want some one-on-one on goal setting, email me, text me. I'd be glad to help you. It'll definitely be a part of our Advanced F&I Skills Part 1 training coming up, where we can start taking control of our destiny versus, here, this is the number that you should be shooting for. Well, that's great, but it doesn't mean anything to me unless I know where I am and what I need to do to get there, and I can help you with that. Look at each month, your PVR, PPR, VSC, whatever, and see where we can forecast some increase by month and by quarter, and then create a plan of what you need to do to get there, and then stick to it. I have this available to you. It's kind of like a fill it out kind of thing, but it can really, you need the data. If you don't have the data, this won't work. And then consider looking at your performance from a 90-day rolling average versus month to month. So take your business and say, where are my product penetrations on a rolling 90-day average? And then start thinking about, okay, and look at this not only in percentages, but of products sold. So if my rolling 90-day average, for a monthly production is 10 VSCs, well, if I want to increase that to 11 this month, I have to sell 3 more than I did last month. And that's the great thing about a rolling 90-day average. So consider doing that. If you need more information about it, reach out to me and I'll explain it.
Your UDS regional manager would be more than happy to help you set some things up as well, because really, if you have a plan, it's going to help you get executed between where you are now and where you want to get to. It's the bridge that takes you there, and it doesn't take much to structure one.
And then, even though we can have a really good plan and we can have a clear idea of how we need to get to where we want to go, sometimes we need to make adjustments based on where we are. So sometimes we're ahead of plan and we're ahead of goal, and sometimes we're behind and we need to make adjustments. So let's just review real quick. You want to read everything you can, learn, keep learning how to get better at what you do. Hold the best sales training meetings. If you're not a trainer, learn to become one. We're going to be doing Train the Trainer in February this year. Make sure that you get involved in that if you're not comfortable training. Refine your process. Don't make customers wait. Practice, drill, and rehearse, and practice, drill, and rehearse some more. Get better at managing your daily tasks, and start to prioritize your time better.
Write them down.
Become a master at the conversational interview. I'll tell you what, that's not an easy thing to do, and if you're going to spend your time learning, that would be where I would suggest you start thinking about it. Interpersonal skills, communication skills, body language, how to be conversational, how to ask better questions. Be the undisputed product knowledge champion in your dealership. Market your products outside the F&I office. Focus on benchmark performance and use UDS auto tracking to forecast and set goals in 2019.